What's up, everybody? I hope your day is going swell, and thank you for taking time out of your day to tune in to another one of my ballroom videos. A couple weeks ago, I made a poll on Twitter at Cooper Hill, go check me out, asking you guys to vote about what video you guys wanted to see next. And you guys came out and said that you guys wanted to see a video about the Detroit Pistons and if they could make the playoffs this year. So here you go, what many Pistons fans want to know this year: can the Pistons make the playoffs? Okay, so the question, will the Pistons make the playoffs, is completely different from can the Pistons make the playoffs. It's hard to say whether the Pistons will make the playoffs because you don't know if an injury could happen, if someone could be traded, if a firing could happen. You don't know what could happen, so it's hard to say whether the Pistons will make the playoffs. But the question, can the Pistons make the playoffs, I think is an easy question with an easy answer required, and that answer is yes. Even if you change the question to should the Pistons make the playoffs, the answer stays the same. It's a yes. Let's just start naming a couple of reasons why the Pistons should make the playoffs. The first and obvious reason is the fact that we added an upgraded version of Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. Avery Bradley is basically what the Pistons were hoping KCP would blossom into, so that's just KCP a few years down the road. We just got him for this year right now at his best. Now, I don't want you guys to get confused by thinking I'm saying I love that trade, because I did make a video about that trade, and I'm not the biggest fan of it strictly because we don't know what could happen after this year with Avery Bradley. But this video is basically talking about strictly this year and whether the Pistons should make the playoffs, and in addition to Avery Bradley should make it way easier to make the playoffs this year. Avery Bradley averaged 16 points a game on almost 40% shooting from the three-point arc last year, which is going to help the Pistons tremendously this year, figuring that we couldn't shoot a three to save our lives last year. He also brings toughness, experience, and leadership to a team that needed all three of those categories. Whether or not this trade was a great trade by Stan Van Gundy, we'll have to wait till next year in free agency and see if we bring Avery back. But concerning just this year, it was an absolute steal by Stan Van Gundy and should be just enough to propel us into the playoffs and what I believe a top 6 seed. That's just taking in the Avery Bradley addition, because if we came back this year as the same team without Avery Bradley and KCP instead, we probably still make the playoffs if Reggie Jackson's healthy. The same with last year. If Reggie Jackson was healthy, we make the playoffs. Many people are forgetting that and thinking that we need some major overhaul, which we don't. We just need Reggie Jackson to be healthy. Which leads me to reason number 2. Reggie Jackson was sat down at the end of last year because he just wasn't feeling it and the knee was not okay. And now he's also had the whole offseason to get better, get back to 100%. And that spells great things for the Pistons this year, assuming that he gets back to the 2015-2016 self. I can't think of another team in the NBA who depends more on their point guard than the Detroit Pistons do. It speaks to the way Stan Van Gundy built this team, because Reggie Jackson has mainly been the only ball handler that can use the pick and roll effectively with Andre Drummond. So therefore, he's the only one that can make things go. So when Reggie's down and out, the team's not going to function as well and everybody else is going to struggle because of it. I do believe the addition of Avery Bradley will take some of the load off Reggie Jackson's shoulders, but mainly it's going to be all on Reggie to take us back to the playoffs because he's our most important player. Andre is our best player, I believe, on the whole team, but Reggie Jackson is the one that makes everything go, therefore he's our most important player. So if he can't go and he can't get back to 100%, the Pistons will have major problems this year, and we may not make the playoffs because of it. But once again, with the whole offseason to repair, get better, get back to 100%, I believe in Reggie Jackson and think he can get back to what he was back in 2015, 2016. And if he does, great things will happen for the Pistons this year. And that leads me to reason number 3. Our bench, to me, has just gotten a whole lot better, and we've added three-point shooting, which I'm going to put together because it mainly is coming off the bench. We drafted Luke Kennard in the NBA draft where his rookie peers voted him the best pure shooter in the whole draft, which is going to add tremendous help to the Pistons. We also added Langston Galloway, and we brought back fan favorite Anthony Tolliver like I suggested we should have done in a video which I'll put right up here for you guys. All of those players are three-point shooters, which is something the Pistons badly need, figuring since they made a brick house last year with all the bricks they launched up from the three-point arc. I mean, there was one game when we were playing on national television, we shot like 1 for 500 from the three-point arc. It was embarrassing. So along with adding those 3-point shooters, we moved Aaron Baines along with Marcus Morris for Avery Bradley, which opened up the spot for Boban Marjanovic, which I think is a major plus, assuming that he's going to be that offensive stud like he was last year. And I just want to say something real quick. Just because Boban is not as good defensively as Aaron Baines doesn't really mean anything, at least to me, because the Pistons were a top 10 defense last year. Defense wasn't our problem, so don't you think we should have added like some offense into there? Hearing Stan Van Gundy throughout the year tell me the reason why Henry Ellison wasn't playing was because of his defense, Boban because of his defense. When defense wasn't our problem, we had good enough defenders elsewhere to keep us top 10. We needed some offense, and he repeatedly said that they were ready offense. So I don't understand how that made any sense, and it infuriated me anytime I listened to him talk about it. Because if we needed offense, why not put some offensive players in there to give us a spark? That's just how I feel about it. It only makes sense to me that if you're already great defensively and you suck at offense, and you have some players on the bench that can give you some offense without losing everybody defensively, go ahead and try to put them in there. Not even just sit the other players. Just try to get the offensive players in there sometimes so you can get some kind of damn offense, because we couldn't score for the life of us last year. We couldn't throw a rock into a lake. So with all those additions and Langston Galloway, Anthony Tolliver, and Luke Kennard, and freeing up some space finally for Boban, and hopefully Henry Ellison gets to play behind whoever's starting at power forward, because John Lure is just... Now let me walk that back a little bit. John Lure should play, but so should Henry Ellison. Maybe they find a way to work them both in, or maybe some lineups they put John at the 5 and Henry at the 4, and that kind of gives it a stretch option at both, assuming that John Lure can finally hit a 3. And the fourth and last reason why the Pistons should make the playoffs this year is because Andre Drummond got some surgery on his nose. And I know what some of you guys are thinking out there. Oh, the surgery on his nose is going to make him breathe better. Is that really going to make him a better player overall? And while the nose surgery won't just give him skills that he doesn't already have, it will help the criticism that the fans have given him about his hustling. Andre has said that last year was the hardest he's ever went through when it came to breathing on the basketball court. And I don't know if you've played basketball, anybody who's watching this, but if you can't breathe right and you're losing breath as you're running and playing, you're not going to want to do the extra stuff because you're already dying trying to do the stuff you have to do. And I do believe that Andre's nose surgery will help him become a better player because of a couple reasons. One, he'll be able to play more minutes a game and impact the game more often in the game because he's going to be on the court. 2, which I mentioned earlier, will help his hustling, which many fans have labeled him as lazy, which I don't believe he is. Like, you don't lead the league in rebounding, offensive rebounding, and pretty much almost any rebounding statistic that you can bring up if you're lazy. That just doesn't happen. And lastly, the one I think will help the most is his defense. Maybe he'll rotate over faster. Maybe he'll rotate over more often because he has the energy to do so. Therefore, if he does that and gets his blocks per game up higher and becomes the rim protector that we've always imagined him being, if he can turn into an elite defender, the Pistons can become a legit threat in the Eastern Conference. That's just what I believe. If Andre Drummond can turn into a DeAndre Jordan around the rim and then be even better offensively, the Pistons, he will have reached his maximum potential, and the Pistons will have high heights ahead of them. It's going to be a fun season watching the Pistons this year for every Pistons fan and just the NBA fan in general, because this team underperformed last year, and it should be back on par this year, and maybe even surprise people who don't know much about them. Man, I know the NFL season's back and all, and I love football, but I can't wait for the NBA season to come back. I'm just so excited and anxious for the season to get underway. I can't wait for it. Alright, that's all I'm going to have for you guys today. If you guys want to comment and leave any ideas or suggestions for future videos or how you guys feel about this video, go ahead and do so below for me. That would be greatly appreciated. If you like the video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up for me. If you like the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button for me. Go ahead and show your friends, show your friends' friends, show your friends' family, your friend's family, your family's family, if that even makes sense. So show everybody that you can show and try to get this channel booming for me. And you guys can always hit me up on Twitter, which I'll put up here at Kookie Hill for you guys once again. You guys can hit me up on there with ideas, suggestions, or just to talk about some sports, argue about some sports, debate about some sports. It doesn't matter. Just hit me up on there if you guys would like. That's all I have for you guys today. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see you guys later in my next video. In the meantime, let me get back to that man 18 boy.